You said that you have like an end game in mind for the end of the Dima era. Is that true? And I don't want to look too far into the future, but after this, the Dima universe kind of closes. Do you think you'll do something like that again and set up a string of like more conceptual stuff, or?
I guess a part of me thinks, the concept album route. I'm still trying to place it for us, whether it's going to be we did that, now we're going to do something different, or if we're going to continue to build on it. I know there's a lot more to explore in that concept and in that narrative. I guess we just don't know which direction we're going to go yet. I don't know if you remember, but 104 shows.
Right.
It's kind of been taken up most of the time.
Got a lot of backstory to it, but a quick version of it is it's a character came up with that represents a lot of my insecurities and our insecurities as a band, and it helped to give those insecurities a name and a face, a seat at the table that we could look across and really understand them. And so the record really, all the songs kind of have a common thread running throughout where this character is going to be defeated. So that's kind of where the name came from. And then lyrically, Jumpsuit talks about, pressure and how to deal with it, whether it was, everyday, normal, human pressure that everyone experiences, or something more specific like trying to follow up a record and trying to write songs that all of a sudden people are going to hear, when it was never really that in the beginning. And so that kind of combined all of those things into one, and that's how that song came about.
Yes, I think it's amazing how you created this whole world, this whole concept. What is it like when you are working on it for I don't know, maybe a couple of months, maybe a couple of years, and then you put it out and it's up to us? How do you follow all the activity on the internet?
Well, we have social media accounts, and we spend a decent amount of time on there.
Like anonymous accounts?
Shh, don't tell.
We do have public accounts. And but yeah, it is fun. I think art's cool, a lot of things can be up to people's interpretation, and a lot of it is intentional, but people can perceive it differently, and it's fun to see those different perceptions and things that people come up with, and the things that they get right, and some things that they have their own meaning and interpretation too, and it is fun to follow that stuff.
And people were going, what does blurry face even mean?
Yeah, I want to know too. What does blurry face mean?
Well, it's the name of the couple records ago, and it's just a character that I use to kind of act as a counter to myself as I'm writing. Give me a place to start as a writer.
Is that like an alter ego type thing that you need, like, to sort of get out of your own head, or?
I mean, if he were here now, he probably would walk out.
Oh, really? Why am I doing that bad in the interview, or is that?
Well, he doesn't think you're doing that great, but I think you're doing great.
Okay, great. Well, I'm happy I'm having the interview with you and not with Blurred Face. Oh my gosh, wow. Okay. And how did you come up with a name? Why did you start that, or like why in the first place? Is that because you need to dip into like a different area to even start being creative, or?
I don't remember how the name came up. I just know that it seems like it always has been that name.
A lot of people want to know what's happening to Clancy, and
yeah, no, I think that just it just felt right to release a song now, especially with the content and what the lyrics were saying, and we tried to not overcommit to something brand new as far as the aesthetics of it all, because we wanted to kind of wait for what we have in store. So,
do you sing your own songs, Turo?
Songs I'm working on, yeah.
Okay. Ooh, so there's a lot more, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've written a ton of little tiny weird ditties that I sing to her. That then I realized, oh, let me grab my phone and record a voice memo real quick, because that might actually be something. But a lot of it's nonsense. But always working on stuff.
Ned.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he have a name?
Ned.
Ned.
Nice.
He
I
couldn't
like-
make it today.
Unfortunately. Does he appear in the show at all, or?
Yeah, he shows up.
Okay, cool.
One song.
One song.
It's the only one he learned.
Okay, I do want to talk about the tour. You know,
No.
I don't know. We've always felt like, especially today, for someone to dive into a record, you have to give them a little more than just a handful of songs. Well, why do those songs belong together? But not only that, why are they? I don't know. What is everything around them? What's the purpose of that?
Yeah.
And I think that there's so many opportunities for artists like us today creating records for us to fill all these. I mean, we could say, hey, you know, let's just make it this font, let's make it this color, let's make the music video this thing, and just get it over with. And it's just such a waste of an opportunity to be creative, to kind of put your own spin on something, to put your story inside of something. And so I just think that bands can, I don't know, they can be really relaxed when it comes to those decisions. I think that when bands or artists get signed, they look to their label to answer a lot of those questions for them. And no, as soon as you get signed, that's when your work starts, and you show them this is the inspiration, this is the story, this is the direction. And a good label like ours follows that and lets us run with it and believes in us and trusts us. No, I mean, they're all good. I mean, the point of making something is to get people to ask questions, to wonder what it's all about. And sadly, a lot of times today, a lot of things that are created, a lot of songs that are written, there isn't really an answer to those questions. And it's, well, it just rhymed, or it sounded good next to each other. But for us, we wanted to make sure that we had answers to the questions that you have. And ultimately, I think that I've learned that the beginning of purpose, which is something we're all seeking, we're all looking for, is creating something that only you understand. I mean, you literally can manifest your own purpose right then and there, because only you understand it. And then slowly you can decide how much to bring other people in and to explain to them what it means. And that's why we enjoy creating so often and so much, because it, in a sense, is answering a big question that we have, which is, what is our purpose? I don't know, it's kind of heavy.
That's a big question. Oh my god.
Big question.
In your music videos, Heavy Dirty Soul, Jumpsuit and Levitate, we can see a burning car. And so what's the message of this trilogy of the burning cars?
We just hate cars, man. Get rid of them all. Just burn them all, man.
We also just have bad luck with them. They just catch on fire.
Okay, thank you.
There was a lot of backstory and a lot of narrative we knew we wanted to attach to the record, and then also tackling, for me, it was kind of the first record that I tried to produce myself in my own house.
And you created a whole world for the album, and when I listen to the album, the world doesn't sound like a very happy place exactly. What kind of place is it?
That's a good question. It's a place that is very inspiring, even though it's not very happy. It can inspire art. It can inspire an expression that makes that place beautiful. But at the same time, you start in a place where you know you should leave, and that really can represent a lot of stuff for a lot of people. You know, we all find ourselves in a spot where we feel like we should leave where we are, and a lot of times we are stunted on that inclination to leave because we don't know where to go. And I guess this record, more than anything, is trying to give an example of you can still leave where you're from and not know where you're supposed to go. Leaving is still the right decision.
Why did you choose to conceptualize the Bourbaki group?
Ooh, good question.
Someone did their homework.
Someone did their homework.
You know,
my girl.
you know.
Yeah. No, actually, they named their group after Nicholas
after
Bourbaki.
Trench.
Yeah.
Oh
so,
wow, that's big. They even
Really?
they even found a time machine.
Yeah.
Went back. I like that.
Yeah, so Blurryface existed before they did.
I like.
Is there something that people have missed that you guys are surprised they haven't caught on yet on the album? Like, you know, maybe like a theme or like a line or two that they kind of went over people's heads?
Yeah.
What's
Very
that?
well, yeah.
Oh, it's still a secret.
Well, I mean, they missed it.
Well, what does
So
what
that's
does
interesting.
Salo
It's come and gone.
Felinas mean in Bandidos?
Yeah, I mean that was a moment in my songwriting that I don't usually do, which I wanted to. I love the idea of filling a word, or even a word that doesn't exist yet, but filling it with meaning. And for that song in particular, where I was going with that bridge, I knew that nothing could quite describe what it is that I was feeling in that moment, and
That's so
that's
cool.
where that phrase came from, and it kind of turned into this idea that it is like it's something that you cry out when you're in need, and I don't know, that it help me. I like doing stuff like that, just filling meaning with something that doesn't have it yet. It was incredible. I mean, to go away for a year and come up with this idea and this world and the way that it looks and the color yellow and what it represents and just the aesthetic. You can't help but wonder throughout the process, like, is this gonna work? Like, does this even... Man, and you just go back to, well, this is exciting to us, and that's all that we have to go by right now, because we've shut everyone else out. There's nothing else to compare it to, and then that show at Brixton Academy was like, it was the moment we realized, at least for this group of people, it worked, it clicked.
Levitate, I like it. It's like you raise me up from where I'm at. And you can see the hints of blurry face in the videos where the black hands come in on the neck again. And I think that story is one to be told. Are we going to see this evolve even more now in the next year? Are we?
We're going to. You're talking to us, and we have not talked to a lot of people about this record. And you would be surprised how much we're just feeding off of how it's coming off. And I don't know, just talking to you right now, it's energizing me to want to go.
I have that effect on people. I apologize.
Move this story forward, man. No, it's amazing. I can't. I mean, we left it open-ended on purpose because we wanted to, take a second to survey the room. Feel like, is this something we should keep on going? And everything's pointing to yes. And so, yeah, there's a lot more to be talked about.
Videos have obviously dropped, and you've put the theme and so on together, and the stories moved from Blurry Face into Clancy, and there's sort of a new part to the whole thing. The rollout of that process, like, is Clancy a more sort of opposite to Blurry Face, a more positive, happy side to this tale? The new character and the new direction?
Interview number 1, man. I don't know. How did you know about Clancy?
Well, we had to listen to the album. We got a copy, so we've had to listen to the whole
Clancy's not on the record.
album. It's online. I've read about it.
Read about
magazines
Clancy
and so on.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. Clancy's. I've heard about him, but I don't. I know we're from the same place.
Got you. Okay. The story of Dima and HDS and sort of the follow-on music video and the escape thereof and so on. The music video sort of came out in a very short space of time and kind of disjointed, and I know fans are trying to work out the order and how to put them in and what links back to the past and what links back to the future. Is there more of that coming? Is it a trilogy? Can you tell us if there's going to be more in the future?
I think the way that we left it was definitely intentionally open-ended so that we could continue to add to the narrative, because it's something that's definitely a thread throughout the entire record. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of ideas in my head. Okay. I think that I do find that it was interesting that some people kind of came up with their own version of the timeline, and it was never meant to confuse people, like what came first and everything, but at the same time, I guess when you're telling a story that has a lot of cyclical parts to it, things that continue to happen over and over, at that point you can I guess you could ask, like, where did this start? So it once the fans got a hold of it and started to digest it, it even brought it more life, watching the story come to life. So I'm excited to dive back into it at some point. Yeah, I mean, yellow was a very important color for this record. In the narrative, when you're in the world of Trench, it's very it's very wild. It's very green, earthy, and a lot of those tones you would want to try to wear to avoid being captured, just to blend in, right? But then at the same time, you want to be able to communicate to those who you want to know, hey, I'm here, like your comrades, the people who are there with you. And that yellow color, little accents of yellow is how that's communicated in Trench, because the bishops who are after you at that point are unable to see the color yellow. So that's kind of how yellow came into play. Yeah, Nico's a continuation of a story from the last record. The last record was about a guy named Blurryface, and I realized that the more that you learned about those things that you're insecure about, learning how do you compensate for them, why do I have them, are they even real? The more you learn about those insecurities, the more power that you have over them to try to defeat them. And Nico is a direct representation of, from Blurryface to Nico, me learning more about him and where he's from and what his name is and how he controls me.
Okay. Thank you. That's going to help to put some context to the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing, honestly, man. My grandma called me and was like, what's Nico? So, I mean, I get it. It's at the same time, though, the story is supposed to, it is first and foremost for the fans who've kind of wanting to dive in from the very beginning and bought into this whole thing and stuck around through us taking a long break and everything. And I wanted to create something worthwhile. We didn't just take a break for a year. We were working. And
the last verse on Neon Gravestones, sort of, even away from the context of the album, it felt almost like a political kind of verse, like you had a lot to say, not just about you and where the album was, but it felt like you could have been talking about the situation around the world at the moment. Was there a deliberate bend in that direction?
Man, you're on fire. I guess that song and the entire record in particular is something that's very important to me, and I would say in this moment is more important to me than politics. And so that's, I guess, for someone to take kind of a political bend, like you say, on a song that I wrote is not really my intention, but at the same time it's definitely open-ended for people to interpret that way. But I had no intention of it coming across as a political bend.
Fair enough.